Alright everyone, today we're going to be jumping back into the Bitcoin price action and talking about this dump we had. And well, even though that 65.8 level was in fact broken on some hourly closes, there's nothing to worry about because we have to wait for those higher time frame candle closes. We got to wait for the market to play out here on the longer term time frame and not just panic sell when we do see these levels break. We are also going into a weekend, so any volatility that happens during the weekend can be manipulated with that low volume. And if we do swing down lower tomorrow or the next day, it's not something I feel we need to worry about too much because that is probably not actual selling pressure. That would simply just be longs getting squeezed out of the market during those low volume days. And we do still have one more level to the downside that we could potentially grab, and it would still be considered a bullish correction. But there is a very solid chance the low we made today was proper. It was our final low for Bitcoin because we did go ahead and grab those poor lows that we were talking about from all the way back in this range here. We've had the sweep level on the charts for quite some time because there was all of these poor lows around the same level, and we knew this was a big level that could potentially get grabbed. I said I was planning for the situation, and if I was going to take a long, it would be after we had gotten under this level. I wasn't really too interested in leverage trading above here, even though I did say, there's a good chance this is a double bottom and we could just squeeze on up. I wasn't really interested in longing any of that stuff. Now that we have gone ahead and actually grabbed this level and I saw some bullish order flow, some bullish indicator signaling that we'll get into in just a second, I went ahead and actually placed a long position on BingX. But if you got a really keen eye, you'll probably notice this is just a demo trade, and that's one of the features I love about BingX. You can just paper trade on their site. And the reason I did not get into a proper long position is simply because I have all my money in my spot bags right now, and I wasn't too interested selling those altcoins at the lows. I'd rather just hold them because they're essentially leveraged Bitcoin anyway. And the way I took this position is in fact going to help me in the long term because I took it as if I was taking a proper trade. I used the exact same setup I would trade if I was trading with real money, with the exact same position size and risk, which is the only way paper trading will benefit you in my opinion. You gotta trade as if you were trading with real money. But like I said, we'll go over more of the indicators and order flow that I used to enter this trade in just a second. But essentially what I did was once I saw it on this low, I went ahead, pulled swing low, swing high, and I entered in from just above the golden pocket to all the way at the 886. And I actually got like a pixel bottom entry on my last buy at this wick here. And that's the way you got to trade. You got to stagger your positions. I went 3 entries with 3 separate stops. You can see my stop losses are here. So my risk on this position was a couple $100s to start. It is now pretty much at entry. If you remember, I talked about my new partnership with BingX in my last video, and they went ahead and actually sent me out a link for you guys to get some limited time rewards and bonuses on their website. If you go ahead and click the link, which is in the description of this video, you will be sent to the sign up page for BingX. And if you sign up using the link down below, you will see a limited time offer. This is for the next 16 days and 8 hours. You can claim up to $7,300 in USDT rewards. A lot of cool different tasks you can do here for some bonus vouchers. If you're at all interested, make sure to go check this out. You can read more about it using that link below. Now let's go ahead, jump into the Bitcoin price action, talk about why I took that long position. Am I confident the low is finally in? And I gotta say there are a lot of things on the charts that point to this potentially being the final low on Bitcoin, although there is still one more level to the downside that we can sweep. But if we do not sweep this secondary level, I'm telling you, it is not bullish. We cannot go lower than $74,500. This is our last line of support. If we cannot swing fail this level and find support on our visible range volume levels, if we take this entire range here, you can see we got this big volume profile of our entire range. And if I were to just draw a box out here, you'll see we have a big volume node in this area here, as well as we've had big volume nodes throughout, the range we're creating up in here. Today, losing this range into this volume gap right here is acceptable because we have swung failed this level, and you can see we have gotten back within inside the range. This is extremely bullish to see because we had all these poor lows in the range we were talking about, actually failing the range and cleaning out that liquidity before coming back up and deviating back inside is actually the most bullish thing you can see. And as long as we are able to get back within inside this range and hold it as support, I can confidently say this should be our low, and we should not retest that until Bitcoin is fully topped out and we do enter the bear market later on. Now, if we are not able to reclaim this level right here, if we cannot get back above and test it as support, if we do in fact fail off of this level and come roll back over, potentially during the weekend, right? Because weekends can be very volatile. They can manipulate price to take out those long positions that are entering right now, just like me. Then coming down and grabbing this last low and actually testing the value area high of this previous volume range that we had within here is certainly not the end of the world. That would just clean out every wick that we had within this entire range here. And as long as we can hold the top end of these volume nodes, potentially point of control, but with higher time frame closes above the 54,500 level, then that is a real possibility for a bullish correction. But I really would like to just hold the range we're in now with this deviation to the downside. We cleaned out the liquidity, and I want to see those buyers stepping in now because we are below this daily EMA. As we talked about, we shouldn't really be getting under this thing during a bull market. We had seen previously we got under it, which had deviated previous cycles, but we were able to reclaim it, turn it into a deviation, and confirm it back into support, sending us up on higher. But we have already deviated it once again within this range, gotten back above it. This really should just be a back test of this daily EMA back into support. If we fail this again, well, I'm not saying it's not possible. We can just go ahead and test these range lows once again before heading on up. It would not look good and indicate that we are probably going to go all the way down to this point of control at like $50,000, and at that point you're losing bullish structure on the macro. The bull market will just not have good validity at that point. You'll lose the bull market support band. There's a lot of stuff that will be lost if we do start closing candles below this volume node I have that green box set out in. But let's jump into these reasonings why I believe this is actually our low. We can see on a 4-hour time frame we do have a nice regular bullish divergence coming in here. This is a really nice thing to see on the charts. We also have this on an hourly time frame as well. You can see here. So bullish divergences are always nice to see, and a third tap of this is also possible. So just be watching out. If we were to come down, they could sweep this level, which would grab my long position. I would have to re-enter another long, and that's why you just got to stay vigilant in the markets, right? If you enter a long position here and it was valid, but then price rejects for a third tap of a bullish divergence, which stops you out at entry, well, that's why you have your stop at entry. So you don't have to get emotional when you get stopped out and you go, okay, well, I'm right back into this position because same indicators are telling me to enter, and there's no reason I can't just re-enter back in on the sweep of a sweep, because Bitcoin likes to do that, and you always got to be prepared for it. And it's much better to get stopped out at entry or small profit and then re-enter. Whereas if you just set your stop at a lower low, there's a good chance you don't see those confluences. You would not have re-entered the position, but you still get stopped out at that loss because you just wanted to hold on to the position that you thought was a good original entry. But hey, we actually do see Bitcoin starting to get above the sweep level, so I think there's a good chance there is not a third drive of any of this. You see on the 4-hour time frame that wouldn't really make a lot of sense here. So I do think it's probably more likely that we are just going to head up here. We're not going to do another tap down there. I don't think we're going to sweep 64.5. I think this will be our low, and a big reason for me believing that was it and we don't need to go any lower is our liquidation heat map. We had been looking at these high liquidity nodes here on the heat map. You could see under all of these previous poor wicks that we had made, the poor lows. We knew this was a big level for market makers to grab, and they have in fact gone ahead and grabbed it. And you can see while there is still some liquidity down below us, right, to that 64.5 level, and that is why if we just come down to that level, that is acceptable. But we have certainly gone ahead and grabbed the vast majority of the liquidity. And if we do jump out here to a 3-month time frame, this gives you a much better perspective on how much more we have to the upside and why I do believe we're going to squeeze up to that 74k level, and also why if we do lose this 64.5 level and it is not a swing failure, that we really have nothing below us, and this entire volume gap is probably not going to act as much support, and we would target all the way back down below $60,000, entirely losing bullish structure on the macro. So we definitely do want to see this area right here on price hold. If we go over here to Coin Inc. now, you can see the amount of buyers in the order books right now versus sellers. It's not even close. Lots of large orders scooping up these lows. Not only do you see this, but on that sweep of the 65.8 level, we saw a ton of longs closing out of their positions into this wick. We then saw a bunch of shorts start opening. So longs closing and then shorts opening after longs have closed and prices fell down indicates that those shorts are likely getting trapped. We saw shorts opening throughout this entire downtrend back here. They were opening at the Pico lows right here, and after all of these shorts were opened here at the low, you can see CVD going down, open interest going up right at the lows. We see a reversal from this point. Open interest continues to trend somewhat up and sideways, whereas CVD trends up after this point, showing bullish continuation while those shorts are getting squeezed, meaning we have good buying pressure behind the price right now, showing momentum to the upside. And what's nice is we have not seen all of these shorts that have opened at the lows closing out of their positions yet. We still need to go up higher before that short squeeze were to happen, so it is not likely for price to want to accept back down to these lower prices, which would actually untrap those short positions. Jumping over to trading light now, looking at the footprint chart, what did I use to enter this long position? Well, if we go to a 5-minute candle, this is what I was looking on when I was looking to enter that position. I saw price come down into this 1,000 Bitcoin buy wall, into all of these other walls. You can see massive amounts of volume within this range from limit long orders in the order books on Binance, thousands of Bitcoin, hundreds of millions, close to $1 billion worth of buy walls. We're absorbing all of those shorts we were just talking about. And what happened here tells me this guy probably knows something. There's a reason he removed this order, and he did not just remove it. He removed this wall and actually pushed it into price, marketing it in, creating these buyer imbalances. And after I saw price accepting back above, making a higher high on the 5-minute time frame, that was my confluence to go ahead and pull fibs, swing low, swing high, as you can see here, right? So pulling that and entering in from the golden pocket to actually the 886, because I had seen throughout price action here on the charts, we have seen the 886 acting as big support, as well as we had these buying balances at that level. So I went ahead, limited in just above golden pocket, in between the 786 and golden pocket at that 75 and the 886, which is an awesome position. I always love to put into my orders because the 886 has almost no risk to it, because you're essentially entering here and your stop is right there. So very low risk to reward on that third entry and really the position overall. And I am already up 4x what my risk was for that position. But am I going to close it now? Well, probably not. My stop's an entry. I can't really lose on this position, and we have gone ahead and started closing candles above the sweep level. If we can just start holding this on higher term time frame candles, I have reason to believe this is our macro low for at least some time, and we should squeeze all the way up to $74,000, and that's where I can take profit on this position. But as I was saying, we got one more low on the chart, which is at that 64,500 level. That is the next sweep level that could potentially be a swing fail and still be like a bullish correction, although I would like price to just rocket up from here on out. If we were to sweep this on the weekend, we do see lots of buyers at this level as well, so I wouldn't be panic selling if we do get down into these lows, because we do see lots of buyers looking to scoop up positions at this level if we are to get it. But if you've been watching Trading Light enough, you know most of the buying limits in the order books, when there is a stack of hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin limit longs in the order books, most of the times you will actually only fill the top section of the walls before heading up. And I actually believe all these people are going to have to FOMO in higher once we do confirm this as support. As we can see right now, prices getting back up convincingly, turning this whole area right here into a deviation that all it did was trap shorts, giving us fuel to the upside. And it will be interesting to see how these single prints react, right? There's a big imbalance level. Are we going to reject this and then fall down, or are we going to maybe reject this, turn the sweep back into support? That's what I kind of expect to see. Or are we going to just rip through the single prints because it imbalances and maintain fast moving price in this low time based area? So yeah, the current price action while I've been filming this is really awesome to see, because not only have we swept back above the 65.8 level, we have now properly swept all the way back up to the 66K level on a daily time frame, and it would be amazing if we could get back up into the waves on the daily EMA here, potentially even over the daily EMA. That would be kind of crazy to see happen on the daily close, because that would fully confirm that we are actually in fact backtesting the daily EMA into support, and all this was a deviation to clean out the leverage, trap shorts, get all of that panic in the markets before the euphoria starts once again. So yeah, that is going to be all for today's video. I really just wanted to talk about Bitcoin's price action, because I know there's probably a lot of fear in the markets. There's probably a lot of people wondering, because we wicked below 65.8, is it all over? And while earlier today it was looking a little sketch and there was a lot of fear in the markets, that is when you want to get long, as I did. And now you can see those confluences that I used and how they worked out to give me such a good entry with such a good risk to reward, and why I believe the next move on Bitcoin will send us straight up to $74,000, and this will finally be the start of the true altcoin season where you don't just have Casper ripping to the upside. No, we should have everything in the market start sending, and expansion into risk on assets should finally happen, and Bitcoin dominance falls. So with that being said, if you have any questions about anything I talked about today, or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below, as well as don't forget about that Bing X limited time event I got going on with them. Link to that as well is down below. If you want to get free money from deposit bonuses and that sort of thing, make sure to go check that out. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.